Russia's military has launched a series of retaliatory strikes against Ukrainian targets following an unprecedented attack on its Kursk region. On August 7th, the Russian Ministry of Defense reported a coordinated assault on key Ukrainian infrastructure, including an oil refinery that supplies fuel for Ukrainian military operations. The refinery, vital to the Ukrainian army's logistics, was hit in a decisive move aimed at disrupting the enemy's capacity to sustain its military campaign. In addition to targeting the refinery, Russian forces struck a temporary base housing foreign mercenaries, as well as multiple Ukrainian army units, tanks, and armored vehicles. The Russian air defense system also intercepted 11 US-made HIMARS rockets and 87 drones, highlighting the intense nature of the ongoing conflict. Konstantin Malofeev, a prominent Russian Orthodox oligarch, made a controversial statement linking Russia's military actions to the potential use of tactical nuclear weapons. Malofeev suggested that Russia's nuclear arsenal could be deployed to decisively end the conflict, drawing a parallel with the US nuclear bombings of Japan during World War II.
The time to use tactical nuclear weapons has come. Russia's tactical nuclear weapons have waited for their time. They are to be the weapons of victory. The specific point of strike will be determined by the military command. Give the civilian population 48 hours and finally end this war.
In response to the Russian airstrikes, Ukraine reported a heightened state of combat near its border areas. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine indicated that Russian forces had intensified their air operations, dropping approximately 30 guided bombs in the Sumy Oblast. Ukrainian troops successfully repelled numerous attacks in Kharkov, Toretsk, and Pokrovsk, although some battles were still ongoing. According to TASS, a Russian news agency, the Ukrainian attack on Kursk Oblast on August 6th resulted in injuries to 24 civilians, including 6 children. Russian President Vladimir Putin condemned the assault as a large-scale provocation, alleging indiscriminate attacks on civilian infrastructure and residential areas. Putin convened a meeting with key government and security officials to address the situation. Russian General Valery Gerasimov reported that around 1,000 Ukrainian troops, supported by tanks and armored vehicles, participated in the Kursk attack. The Russian military has claimed to have prevented further Ukrainian advances and is focusing on securing the region and repelling any further incursions. In a significant escalation of the 2-year conflict, Ukrainian forces have launched a major operation within Russian territory. In response, Russian President Vladimir Putin has declared a state of emergency in the border regions of Kursk and Belgorod. President Putin has accused Ukraine of a large-scale provocation, as Moscow reported the second consecutive day of Ukrainian raids. Civilian buildings have reportedly come under attack, increasing tensions and raising the stakes in the ongoing war. Despite these accusations, Kyiv has remained silent, neither confirming nor denying involvement in the incursion.
We will have to start with the events in the Kursk region. As you know, the Kyiv regime has undertaken another large-scale provocation and launched indiscriminate shelling of civilian buildings, residential houses, ambulances with different types of weapons, including missiles.
The operation, which began on August 6th morning, involved approximately 300 Ukrainian troops. The Russian military initially claimed to have repelled the incursion, inflicting heavy losses on the Ukrainians. However, conflicting reports from Russian military bloggers suggest that fierce fighting continued through the night, with Ukrainian forces making significant advances.
Immediately after our meeting, I will have a meeting with the heads of security agencies, the Ministry of Defense, the General Staff, the FSB, I mean the work of Federal Security Service on the border. I will hear another report from my colleagues on what is happening in the Kursk region.
By August 7th morning, Ukrainian troops had established a front stretching 10 to 12 kilometers into Russian territory. Reports indicate that some units have advanced northwest, while others have moved towards the administrative center of Sudzha, effectively surrounding Russian troops and creating a sense of panic among local Russian forces. Estimates suggest up to 900 Ukrainian troops, supported by around 30 to 40 tanks and armored personnel carriers, are involved in the incursion. This battalion-strength force has caused significant embarrassment for the Kremlin, forcing Putin and his top military officials to address the situation publicly. Military analysts speculate that the Ukrainian operation is a strategic maneuver to divert Russian forces from key battlegrounds in eastern Ukraine. Over the summer months, Russian forces have made incremental gains in the Donetsk region, capturing areas such as the town of New York. By opening a new front, Ukraine aims to stretch Russian resources thin, compelling them to redeploy troops from critical areas. The timing of the Ukrainian offensive also appears to be a morale boost for Kyiv, demonstrating their capability to take the initiative in a conflict where they have often been on the defensive. The element of surprise and the psychological impact of striking within Russian territory have undoubtedly rattled Moscow. This large-scale operation is notable as it marks the first time regular Ukrainian troops have crossed into Russia, intensifying the conflict significantly. The Ukrainian incursion into Russia not only marks a significant escalation in the conflict, but also poses broader implications for regional stability. Both sides are expected to reinforce their positions, potentially leading to further confrontations in the coming days.